name's Annette, and you may know me as Nettersplays. And today I'm going to go over my acquisitions and impressions for the month of June. And in June, I only acquired 4 games, and out of those 4 games, I managed to play them all. So I'm really proud of myself because I got them all on the table and I managed to play them, and I can give you great impressions of them. Or bad, maybe. So let me go ahead and just get to it real quick. So the first game that I acquired is a game that I already enjoy, and I actually managed to get its expansion. And that game is Tiny Epic Galaxies Beyond the Black. Now, I already have the base game and I really enjoy this game right here. But the cool thing about it is that after playing it for so much, it kind of wears out a little bit. So I wanted to expand it, and it's a great game. But Beyond the Black promised to kind of make it new again because it offered different things. One of the things that it offered were pilots. Pilots actually fly specific types of ships, and they have special abilities to go along with them. So the ships aren't all the same, they all kind of do something a little different and get an added bonus. So I really enjoyed the pilots expansion because it actually gave it a little bit more meat, and you can really play around with the cards and acquire different pilots and kind of, you know, make the game new again. And the expansion offers like a huge deck of pilots, so there's a lot more to explore in the game. And speaking of exploration, it also offered these round cards, and these cards right here are different planets or areas that you can explore. And so by exploring in this game, it's a pretty much press your luck type of placement in this game. It's a new mechanism that's involved with this game. So you can push your luck by turning over the cards and seeing if it's a green card, or if you're unlucky, it's a red card. Now, the green cards will give you special bonuses, and the red ones will take things away from you. But both of them are going to give you these special little icons that are on the bottom. And that's something new in the game because you're trying to acquire these different icons and kind of see who has the most of a certain type at the end of the game to kind of get more points. So the game becomes a little bit more tighter and tougher because you're trying to acquire pilots, you're trying to acquire these different planets, you're trying to also explore and acquire icons, and the game just evolved and it expanded so much more that I'm really enjoying it. So I think if you're already a fan of the base game and you've exhausted the gameplay already in this game, then you should definitely pick up the expansion. If you're not a big fan of the base game, then I wouldn't suggest it. Or if you're just going to start off by playing this one, I would say just start with this one. And once you exhaust it, then get the expansion. So I think it's something that is super enjoyable, and I can't wait to play more of this game. So another game that I also acquired also deals with space, and this game is called The Space Race. Now, The Space Race is a game that I kickstarted last year, and I finally got it, and what I really was impressed with this game was the fact that it deals with the space race of humankind and trying to build the best space agency. So it's very historical in the sense that all the characters, all the rockets, all the things that, you know, espionage and such, and the Cold War, everything that was dealt with the space race, all of that is involved in this game. And it's a basic card game, you know, in that kind of way. But also it has this cool, amazing insert, and it has a really unique kind of first player token, which is all made out of wood, and it really shows the craftsmanship and detail of this game and how much they put into it. I was really impressed with that. And the game itself, how you play it is you have these cards in hand. Everyone has the same set of cards, and you secretly play one. So we're all simultaneously selecting a card, and then from that, we're going to go ahead and show each other what that card is. And then that's going to pretty much tell us who's going to go first. And what you do with that card is, based on what color it is, you can pick a certain card from the universe. And the universe is not the spatial universe, it's pretty much this big group of ideas in between us all, whether it be new leaders or kind of ideas that we've had or kind of rockets and such. Thoughts pretty much that were dealt in the space race time. So because of that color, I could pick that type of color, in this case orange. So I could pick other orange cards from the universe. And then I can add it to my tableau. And this tableau is going to build and build and build. And so it's a tableau builder. And it also, the cards that you play, that you select, will also affect the cards that you've already played. And so it builds sort of like a weird kind of engine. The really cool thing is that in order to put things or grab things from the universe, they have to be placed there too. So you're going to have a hand of another hand of cards that you get to decide what to place in there. And there's a bluffing element. I mean, this game is just packed with mechanics. And I really haven't understood completely how to play the game too much because I haven't done too well. But it's a really cool game. I really like it. I feel like there's a really good game in here. I just have to explore it a little bit more. So I've really been impressed with this game. And I haven't heard too many people talking about it, but I'm really glad that I picked it up. So this is a Kickstarter game that I backed, and I'm really impressed with it. And it's called The Space Race. So another game that I also acquired is a game that I didn't back. I actually picked it up because I was curious on how it worked. And that game is called Exit the Pharaoh's Tomb. Now, Exit the game is based upon an escape the room type of mentality. So if you like escape the rooms, and if you're not familiar, it's pretty much where you're locked in a room and you try to figure out these different riddles based on what you have in the room and try to get out. Now in this box right here, you have a deck of cards, you have a little notebook, and you also have a disc, which is an encoder. And you use everything in the box and you try to figure out the riddles in order to beat the game. Now, it sounds like a really cool idea, and it actually was. I mean, everything I needed was inside the box, and you have a deck of cards, and in that deck you have the riddle cards, and then you have your answer cards. You have hint cards too, which you can use throughout the game. But pretty much what you're doing is you find a certain set of cards that are riddle cards and you try to figure out how to solve it. You put in a code in the encoder and you pick up the answer card and you see if you're right or not. And more than likely you're wrong. At least in my opinion, I was wrong a lot. But in this game, it's just, you keep on pursuing, you keep on trying to figure out these riddles. And it was really difficult, but I really enjoyed myself a lot. It's actually really creative on how they did the riddles in this game. So if you're into riddles and if you're into figuring something out and kind of doing a co-op with someone else or a group of people, I would suggest a bigger group. I did it with 2 players. I'd suggest a big group. But definitely you should check out Exit the game. But I would also suggest you trying the easier game first, because this one was a little too hard for me. So my final game is another game that I also kickstarted about a year ago, and I finally got it. And it's called Near and Far. Now, Near and Far was my absolute favorite game of last month that I played because it was just so involved, and the experience that I had in that game was just so unique and different. I really enjoyed myself with it. And what I enjoyed about it is the fact that I can play this game in different sorts of ways. So this game is the sequel to another game called Above and Below, and the two of them play in a similar manner because you have a board game, but you also have a storytelling game. So you explore the stories that come about in the game, and you're offered these different options. And based on those options, you get stuff from it if you win. So the cool thing about Near and Far is that it kind of evolves from the Above and Below game by kind of expanding that universe. And what it offers is this book called the Map Book. And you go through this map book, which is sort of like your board game or your actual board, and you explore these different maps. And the maps themselves have different icons, and those icons will actually guide you in what page or what story you should read. So based on where you go, you open up this new world. So I really enjoyed that part. And also, another cool thing about Near and Far is that you can play it in different ways, whereas in Above and Below, you can only play it in one type of way. So in Near and Far, you can play the arcade way, which is just with a deck of cards, no stories. I wouldn't suggest it. But the other kind of ways to play it is through the campaign mode, where you play through the whole book itself, the map book, and you play through the whole story, and you pretty much just play the full game itself. And it's not something that's going to be like Pandemic Legacy, where you destroy anything. You just read everything. You understand the whole story of the game. And so you can play it over and over again in a way. Now, another way that I've been enjoying it, actually I think is probably the best way, is the character mode, where you pick a character at the beginning of the game and you actually play like 3 or 4 different games and you evolve the character. So you go ahead and read stories about that specific character and you kind of develop the character itself and find out why this person or thing is actually in the Near and Far universe. What's their thing? Why are they exploring? Why are they trying to get somewhere else? You know, what is their story, their background? So I thought that was really interesting. It really made the characters kind of come out in the game. And I know if I were to play with those characters after developing them, I can take them out into the campaign world and I can get more of a story from that. So I've really been enjoying, I'm really impressed with Near and Far. If you're into a game that, you know, it's not a heavy, hard game to play, but the story and the experience is what makes this game so good to me. So I definitely recommend Near and Far. Well, thank you so much for joining me in my acquisitions and impressions, and I'm really glad that I managed to play all the games that I acquired. And thank you so much. And again, if you want to go ahead and follow me, I'm all over the internet as Nettersplays. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, also on YouTube as a Meeples Included, an Instagamers network, and also a part of the Dice Tower too. So go ahead and just look me up if you want. You can also subscribe and like, and make sure you leave a comment. Let me know if you enjoy these games or not, or if you suggest any other games that I should try and pick up too. So thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye!